The Galactic Council had maintained its serene order for over 3 millennia, governing 17 species across 47 star systems with the quiet dignity of ancient wisdom. Their vast crystalline chamber on Nexus Prime hummed with the soft harmonics of civilized discourse, where debates were conducted in measured tones and decisions reached through contemplative consensus. Ambassador Zethkar of the Vorthak hegemony adjusted his ceremonial robes as he addressed the assembly. Fellow councilors, we convene today to discuss the recently discovered system designated Terra Sol. Our long-range surveys indicate a planet harboring what appears to be primitive biological life. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a blue-green marble suspended in the darkness. Murmurs of polite interest rippled through the chamber as representatives from various species examined the data streams. The electromagnetic signatures are curious, noted Counselor Wyleth, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's ambient light. There appears to be widespread electrical activity, but no discernible communication attempts toward the stars. High Arbiter Krex nodded his massive head, 3 eyes focusing intently on the display. Indeed, another silent world. How tragic that so many species fail to achieve true consciousness before their inevitable extinction. The Council had encountered hundreds of such worlds, planets teeming with life but lacking the spark of true intelligence that would allow them to reach beyond their atmospheric boundaries. They called them silent worlds, and they were typically quarantined until their biospheres eventually collapsed under their own primitive chaos. I propose we classify Terra Sol as Silent World Designation 847, Zethkar continued. Standard observation protocols will apply. Perhaps in a few million years something worthy of contact might. The transmission hit them like a cosmic thunderclap. Every receptor in the chamber screamed at once. The harmonics that had maintained perfect acoustic balance for centuries shattered into discordant chaos. Emergency barriers slammed down as counselors covered their auditory organs, their sophisticated translation matrices completely overwhelmed. But beneath the cacophony, something impossible was happening. The pow, random noise was resolving into patterns, crude barbaric patterns that somehow managed to convey meaning, with a directness that made their elegant diplomatic protocols seem like whispered shadows. Attention unknown recipients. The transmission boomed, translated into 17 languages, simultaneously by their struggling systems. This is Earth calling. We know you're out there. High Arbiter Krex had lived for 4,000 years. He had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, had negotiated peace between species separated by evolutionary gulfs so vast they might as well have been different universes. Nothing had prepared him for this moment of primal terror that froze his triple-chambered heart. We've been listening, the transmission continued, and now they could detect something that chilled them to their cores. Humor. Did you really think a species that invented nuclear weapons before achieving sustainable energy would be shy about making noise? Counselor Wyleth's crystalline structure began to resonate in harmonic distress. This is impossible. Their technology, readings indicate they've barely achieved basic spaceflight. How could they? Oh, and about those surveys, the voice interrupted, somehow detecting their private communications across impossible distances. Next time you want to scan someone's home, try knocking first. We've been watching your little probes for months. Ambassador Zethkar's diplomatic composure cracked. They've been aware of our surveillance, but our stealth technology is centuries beyond their capabilities. Also, the transmission added with what could only be described as casual menace. We should probably mention that we've figured out faster-than-light communication. Funny thing. About humans, when we really want something to work, we don't let little things like physics stop us. The chamber erupted in chaos. Species that had maintained diplomatic relations for millennia began shouting at each other in their native tongues. Emergency protocols that hadn't been activated in centuries began cycling through the station's systems. High Arbiter Krex forced himself to approach the communication console, his massive hands trembling as he activated the reply system. This is High Arbiter Krex of the Galactic Council. We greet you, humans of Earth. The response came instantly, carrying with It an emotion they had nearly forgotten existed in civilized discourse, laughter. Nice to finally meet you officially, Krex. By the way, love what you've done with Nexus Prime, very impressive. We've been watching your council sessions, educational. The implication hit them like a physical blow. If the humans had been watching, their sessions, they knew everything. Their military capabilities, their territories, their weaknesses. But don't worry, the transmission continued with terrifying cheerfulness. We're not interested in conquest yet. We're more curious about this whole galactic civilization thing. Seems like you've got a nice setup here. Zethkar found his voice, though it cracked with strain. What? What do you want? The pause that followed seemed to last for eons. When the humans finally responded, their words would be recorded in the council archives as the moment everything changed. We want to talk properly this time, and maybe we can teach each other a few things. You folks seem to have mastered the art of peace. We've mastered the art of controlled chaos. Might be interesting to see what happens when we combine the two. High Arbiter Krex looked around the shattered remains of their ordered chamber, at the faces of representatives who had believed themselves the pinnacle of galactic civilization just moments before. Perhaps he thought with a mixture of terror and exhilaration, it was time for the galaxy to learn what humanity meant by interesting. Transmission ends. Oh, and counselors, we'll be in touch. Real soon. The silence that followed was not empty. It was pregnant with possibility, with change, with the promise that their quiet, orderly galaxy was about to become a much more dangerous and exciting place. The age of silence was over. The age of humanity had begun.